Hello, welcome to another counselling conversation. My name's Tina McDonald. Thanks for joining me today. The subject I'm going to have a little bit of a waffle about today is actually a misconception. Do kind people still say no to things? There seems to be that confusion around kindness means you don't have any boundaries. See the previous video on boundaries. But it's around being a person who confuses kindness, goodness, being a decent person with actually being a people pleaser. You know, other people's wants and needs get put above your own. So we don't need or want to upset people. And often that's the driver behind saying yes to doing things, and that confusion that then connects it to being a kind or a nice person. We often feel the need that we need to give justification if we don't want to, or we can't, or we just simply want to say no. We don't like to highlight that we are actually uncomfortable with a certain interaction, because again, we tie that into other things. But being a kind person, the starting point should be with yourself, because if you understand what kindness feels like, then you can understand how interacting with it in the appropriate way means that when we offer kindness, we actually get as much back as when we give. So a random act of kindness, for example, the concept around that is based on the science of the brain and the body, which actually, when you are being kind outwards, you get as much inwards. So it works both ways. So it's good for everybody involved. But if it's being done under duress or manipulation, often emotional manipulation, if you don't do this, nobody else will. If you don't do, all of those things. And sometimes, we need to be a little bit pliable with what we do get involved in. But when we're doing it specifically because we feel that makes us a kind person, that's not quite the same as interacting with kindness for the sake of kindness. Forced kindness is actually the very opposite of kindness for either people involved. So kindness is a two-way thing. We should get as much back from the recipient as we do from ourselves. Being a kind person still allows us to implement our boundaries and our choices, and you can still engage with kindness and being a kind person and say no. I know, that's a different way of thinking, isn't it? So I'm hoping, as always, that the counselling conversation does just that. It opens up a conversation with others, maybe even with yourself, around when you look at saying yes, yes, yes. Are you saying yes because you really enthusiastically or in your heart want to be involved with this? Or is it because there's duress involved? And that then becomes something else. So to kind of answer the very first opening line, do kind people say no? Absolutely, they do. It doesn't make you an unkind person. It makes you a kind person who recognises that boundaries are important and that kindness involves you as well as the other person. So you can still be a kind person, but you can choose with whom you're kind, what situations you want to use your kindness in. And I hope that gives you a slightly different reframe on when it's okay to say no and it's not impacting your being a kind person. Take care. As always, like, subscribe, leave some comments, and always give us some subjects for other video conversations. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.